Hello, this is Nick Bertozzi, and on behalf of the RBE 2001 teaching team, I'd like to welcome you to Unified Robotics 1, and we're looking forward to working with you this term. We will be using SolidWorks and MathCAD extensively, so publishing the course early and opening some of the assignments and videos just so that if you have time, you can get started now and try and get through some of these things even before the class starts. Okay, so as you can see, Canvas is nice in that you can see what you have coming up and the due dates. So this is just a little survey. It's that you can take at any time, even during class, the first class. But you can see that there's some quizzes on SolidWorks and then one on MathCAD. And the FC means flipped classroom. So in other words, before coming to class, you watch a video and then you try the software out and then answer some questions. So for instance, on quiz 1 here, you can see that you want to first watch these two videos, and then the best way to do it is to watch the videos and then open up SolidWorks and try to do some of the things that are in the video and then take the quiz. And as you can see, as stated here, quizzes aren't timed, but once you start answering them, you have to complete the quiz. So you can have the video open at the time and re-watch something if you need to. The first one, you have 2 attempts at it, and then the rest of them, it's just 1 attempt. Okay, so I'm going to go to modules, and if you click on this link right here, it's a remote desktop and frame VDI and so on. So with the remote desktop, you can access MathCAD and MATLAB, and you can just type in remote desktop down in the, if you have a Windows machine, down the left-hand corner, and then log in, and you'll see that you can use MathCAD. You can also go to the software hub and download it onto your machine, and as long as you're connected to the VPN, you can use it right on your own machine that way as well. And then Frame VDI. So SolidWorks is actually on this eLabs as well, but the Frame VDI is a more powerful machine, so you might want to use that. And so let me just point out something here. So I click on that link and click on Access Frame VDI. Okay, and then sign in with WPI login. All right, so you'll have to click on this button up here, and you can see that there's 2 different machines. You want to click on the one that says WPI Engineering SolidWorks. Just click on that, and then if you go to desktop and open that, then you'll get to, like I said, a machine that's really good for using SolidWorks. And it does take a little bit of time to load, so I'm just going to pause for a second here. Okay, so from here you can go ahead and open SolidWorks. Now, if you use the SolidWorks on the Frame VDI, the problem is you don't want to have to be uploading and then downloading different files. So what you can do is connect to the OneDrive and have a video that shows you how to do that. And that would be nice too. When we set up the teams, you can share your project folder, and then just have one SolidWorks version, so that way you're not worried, trying to figure out who has the right version, who has the up-to-date version of your project. So, but there's a video on that. So anyways, once you're in here, you can open up SolidWorks and let's see. Okay, so here's the link to a video that describes how to set up the OneDrive. So you can just click on this and that will bring you to that video. And then the other thing you can do is install SolidWorks on your own computer. So if I click on this link, you'll notice that as of right now, which is August 12th, when I'm making this video, last year's version is still the version that they have on the website here. So I would say use Frame VDI or the eLabs SolidWorks until this changes to 2023. It's supposed to happen anytime now, right? Because you're going to want to be using the most up-to-date version. The problem is if you're using like in the classrooms eventually, by the time the term starts, there'll be 2023. So if you solve stuff like that to your OneDrive, and then you have 2022 on your own computer, you won't be able to open the 2023 version. So I would say it does take quite a while to download SolidWorks onto your own personal machine, and so you might want to just wait a few more days or check until you see that it's actually 2023 is the version that's available. If you have a computer that's not very powerful, then you might want to just use the Frame VDI anyways. Okay, so if I go back to modules now and go to this additional materials and instructional video information, you can see here's the playlist for SolidWorks, and all these files right here would be useful, so you can download these and put them into your OneDrive folders. So the first two are formatting files. One is for 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Size B is 11 by 17. So you might want to download those. And when you download them, you can put your own initials, to signify that your files at that point. And then there's the main three types of files we'll be using with SolidWorks are part files, assembly files, and drawing files. So there's 6 files altogether here, 3 for inch and 3 for millimeters. So anyways, you can go ahead and download those, and they're just already set up with values that make sense. So and then the other thing is if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's the MathCAD introduction. So if I click on that, okay, so here you can see there's an introduction to MathCAD, and MathCAD would be really useful in solving systems of equations. When we do 4-bar mechanism analysis, we end up with, we have to have 3 free body diagrams and 9 equations, so it's not something you want to be solving by hand. So MathCAD is really good at solving those equations. So anyways, before you take the quiz on that, you'll want to work through these videos up through this one right here, Systems of Equation with respect to force analysis, Roman numeral 3. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and let's look at the playlist here for SolidWorks for a minute. All right, so you can see there's looks like quite a few videos, but they're all less than 5 minutes long. And my students always tell me that they can play my videos at 1.5 speed. So that's less than 5 minutes then. And at any rate, as I said, you can work through these, look at the quizzes. It tells you which ones to watch. As you watch them, open up SolidWorks and try some of the things that are being discussed. And by the way, the example here will be part of the assignment for will end up being part of the assignment for Lab 1. So You know, if you learn how to do these things, then you'll be in good shape for lab 1. Um, so anyways, you can work through these and then work through the quizzes. Now, if you have no experience with solid modeling, then I would recommend that you actually, before you work through this playlist, that you go to SolidWorks, and let me bring this up here. Okay, this, by the way, is a solid model it's available on Canvas. It's an assembly of the field itself and the beginnings of your robot, which is the Romy. So you can just download this when you're ready. But what I wanted to point out here is that if you go to this question mark and click on tutorials, okay, then you'll have this box right here and these 3 lessons. So lesson 1, parts, lesson 2, assemblies, and lesson 3, drawings. You can see it says lesson 1 is supposed to take you 30 minutes. If you've never used SolidWorks, it will probably take you more than 30 minutes. But anyway, so the first lesson shows you how to create a part. Then the second lesson shows you how to put multiple parts together in an assembly. And the third lesson shows you how to create a drawings of your parts. So these would be useful. If you don't have any experience, then start with these basic tutorials, and then you can go on to the playlist that I showed you earlier. And just to give you an idea, if you click on these, you know, it shows you step by step, and it has different things. Like if I click on this, you can see it's flashing over here to show you where the button is. And so it's worked you through step by step how to create some simple parts. Yeah, so it'd be good to look at that first and then start the SolidWorks playlist. Okay, so if I go back to modules, I'll just point out a couple of more things quickly here. If you're rusty on force analysis, there's a couple of lectures from Ken Stafford there. There's a video on 3D printing. We'll be talking about that later. Well, each student is going to be getting their own Romy this term. So instead of having you buy the Romy, the department is buying them and basically is loaning them to you for the term. But one of the things that you'll have to do is solder a header onto the reflective sensor. So and the idea of that is to give you a little bit of experience soldering, excuse me, if you haven't done it before. So this would be a really good video to watch if you haven't soldered before. And then there's just some other information here about oscilloscopes and whatnot. And as I said, there's the solid model of the field with the Romy base bot already on it. So I think that's probably enough for now. As I said, the purpose of this is to give you a chance, if you have time, to get started on doing some of the SolidWorks videos and little short quizzes. The terms, as you know, are only 7 weeks long, and they go by really fast. So any progress you can make, even if you just do a little bit each night up until the class starts, it will be helpful. So we look forward to seeing you soon, and hope you have a good rest of your summer.